but the bullet struck a tree. Splinters exploded from the trunk as bark flew past Anya's shoulder. She flinched but didn't fall. One hunter had fired, but another, an older man in the back, had bumped his elbow at the last second. Maybe on purpose, maybe not. Either way, it saved Yasha. The great bear stumbled. Tranquilizer darts had taken their toll. His knees buckled and he collapsed beside her, panting heavily. His flanks heaved. Blood trickled down his shoulder where the dart had embedded deep. But even now, in pain, surrounded by threats, he didn't bare his teeth. He didn't growl. He didn't strike. He just looked at her. Anya dropped to her knees and placed her hand gently on his massive neck. "Yasha," she whispered, breath shaky. "I'm here." He let her touch him. Around his thick fur, tangled and matted, she felt something strange near his shoulder. She brushed aside the hair, mud, old leaves, and gasped. There, wrapped partially in knots and still faintly glinting in the moonlight, was a small silver charm on a broken string. Her mother's necklace, the one she had given him when they said goodbye. Still there, still worn, still remembered. Voices surrounded them. Footsteps crunched leaves. Flashlights flashed in her eyes. "Back away," someone yelled. "He's still dangerous." "No," came another voice, calmer, more curious. "Wait, look." It was Dr. Karpov, a wildlife specialist attached to the regional team. She'd come not to kill, but to observe. Her camera had recorded the entire interaction. The girl's whispers, the bear's stillness, the charm in his fur, the way he dropped to the ground not in rage, but trust. She stepped forward, raising a hand to halt the others. "Don't fire. This isn't aggression." The other hunters hesitated. Some lowered their rifles. Anya rested her head against Yasha's fur. His breathing was slower now, heavier, but he didn't pull away, didn't twitch. The moment was frozen, girl and beast, side by side, surrounded by men who could not understand what they were seeing. But the cameras rolled, and the world was about to. By morning, the footage was everywhere. The scene had gone viral. A girl and the bear who remembered her. Headlines exploded. The bear that didn't attack, but remembered. Wild animal recognizes childhood savior after 6 years. Scientist stunned by human-animal bond caught on camera. Public outrage followed, not against the bear, but against those who had tried to kill him. Protests flooded the region. Conservation groups demanded the bear be spared. Thousands signed petitions overnight. Schools studied the footage. Psychologists analyzed the emotions in the animal's eyes, and deep in their hearts, people whispered what few dared admit aloud. That bear loved her. Under growing pressure, the government relented. Yasha would not be killed. Instead, he was moved, gently, cautiously, to a sprawling wildlife sanctuary hundreds of kilometers away. A place of towering trees, flowing streams, and no cages. And one condition written into the agreement by Anya herself. He would never be locked away. Anya volunteered at the sanctuary the moment Yasha arrived. She wasn't assigned to him officially, no one was. They didn't dare risk anyone controlling him. But from the first day, he sought her out. She'd arrive, and he would appear near the edge of the enclosure. He would wait until she spoke. Then, slowly, quietly, he would come. No one else could get close. Trainers tried, biologists tried, not with food, not with kindness, not even with caution. He would turn away, retreat, sometimes snarl. But when Anya came near, he was still, patient, gentle. She would speak in soft tones, using the same words from their forest days. She'd toss him berries and he'd catch them. She would sit nearby for hours while he slept. He would rise only when she stood. They didn't need words. They had memory. One summer evening, months later, an unexpected storm surged across the sanctuary. Winds roared. A tree crashed down on part of the outer fence. One of the handlers was pinned beneath it, unconscious. Panic spread. Emergency alarms blared. The perimeter weakened, and Yasha stood near the opening. He could have run, could have disappeared into the wild again. No cages, no humans, but he didn't. Instead, he lumbered toward the fallen handler. Cameras later showed what happened. He used his massive head to roll the log enough for the man to breathe. Then he stood over him, guarding until help arrived. He never moved toward the exit. He never left. The staff stood in silence as he allowed them to approach the injured man. And then, slowly, Yasha returned to his favorite grove and lay down. By morning, the sanctuary wasn't just a facility. It was his home. Years passed. Anya never missed a week. Her bond with Yasha became legend, and her visits were broadcast live by nature channels. Children watched, families followed, school groups made pilgrimages to see the girl who had once rescued a bear, and who was now rescued by him in return. Eventually, she wrote a book, Raised by a Bear. It became a global bestseller, not because it was shocking or sensational or tragic, but because it was true. She told the story of an 8-year-old girl, unloved by a village but chosen by something wilder. She described the frost-bitten nights, the stolen meals, the silent games beneath the pine trees, and she wrote of the pain, letting go, losing hope, and then finding him again. The book sparked something deeper, a movement. Suddenly, sanctuaries saw surges in support. Animal rescue efforts tripled in donations. Lawmakers debated new regulations on hunting and wildlife preservation. And throughout it all, Anya remained quiet, steady, and unchanging, because all she'd ever wanted was to be near him. One cold morning, years later, the sanctuary lay covered in soft snow. The trees sparkled with frost. The world was hushed. Anya walked through the gates at dawn. She no longer needed clearance. No guides, no guards, just her coat, her voice, and the name she still carried in her heart. Yasha, she called softly. From the grove, a slow rustle. The old bear emerged, moving slower now, heavier. His muzzle had turned gray. His steps were stiff, each one labored. But when he saw her, something sparked. He stood taller. He crossed the field, slowly, deliberately, and stopped in front of her. Anya smiled and reached out. He lowered his massive head. She placed her hand on his fur, just like she had as a child. The same texture, the same warmth. She closed her eyes, pressed her forehead to his, and whispered, "You waited." He rumbled, low and soft. A purr, not a growl. Behind her, the sanctuary staff watched from a distance, not daring to speak, not because they were afraid, but because they understood now. This wasn't a bear. This was Yasha, her friend, her family, her miracle. And though he no longer roared or played or ran, his eyes still held her name. Final line. He never forgot me, not for a single moment.